Hello.
Hi.
Hello,
Uh,
sir. Good morning.
Hi
Good morning, sir.
Jagannath. Hi Bhagyasri. Someone Lakshmi Narayana. Hi. I mean, anyone joined yesterday also? Like, I mean, is this like a first session for you, everyone?
First session this is.
Okay. What about you, Bhagyasri? It's Botla Lakshmi Narayana.
Sir, today is my second session.
Okay. Lakshmi Narayana. Someone. Hello.
First session only.
Okay. Okay, fine. I mean, I just need few details actually. I mean, everyone is from manual testing background, or is there someone like who don't have any background of testing also? How exactly? I just want to know like what's the exact requirement about for each of
Manual testing, I know. I'm planning to learn automation.
you. Okay. What about you, Bhagyasri?
Sir, I know about the manual testing. I have 3 years of experience in manual testing.
Okay.
Now, for career growth, I want to do automation testing.
Okay. Great. What about you? Like yes, Potla, someone. I'm not sure. Like what's your
That's
name?
okay. My name is Sharath.
Sharath. Hi, Sharath.
Hey. I do manual testing,
Mhm.
but even I wanted to
Mhm.
grow in my career.
Okay.
But I have a specific requirement. Maybe I can talk to you, once after the
Sure.
of the session.
We'll definitely do that.
Yeah.
So, Lakshmi Narayana, you're also from same thing. You're from manual testing background as well. Lakshmi Narayana. I think you're talking on mute, maybe. Hello. Okay, that's fine. So most of the people like everyone know about like a manual testing. Like I think already you are into the same field. You know how to write a manual test cases, the concepts of testing, software testing, and the methodology we are following, like Agile, waterfall. All those things you are aware of, right? Only thing you have to learn automation. You have to like maybe you might have aspiration of building framework by your own for your applications, and then maybe you have to you are looking for that, right? Basically,
Yes, yes.
yeah. It would be good if everyone interact like it will be like a good like it's like an interactive session maybe, so that like I can understand like I mean what exactly your requirement is about, because few people will just learn for interview purpose, and few people want to learn this automation for their application itself. Maybe like they want to start their own framework for their applications, just to showcase their skills into automation in their projects, right? So so if you could like interact with me so that I can understand better, and I can help you definitely for each of you, right? I can help you in whatever the requirement it is. I can help you for sure.
Your assumption is correct. I mean, we wanted to implement the same in our environment.
Mm.
So, but we don't deal with any, web testing.
Mm-hmm.
So, we mainly, in the cloud services currently, and specifically, we do most of the times the data validations. So,
Database testing.
not the database testing exactly, not exactly. So we are dealing with the cloud services right now. We feed some data into cloud application, and the outcome of the data will be sometimes in the JSON format, and sometimes it is in the load into that some DynamoDB tables.
Mm-hmm.
So, but ultimately the format will be in JSON, and we wanted to validate the data which is outcome of the cloud services. So
Okay, I
every
mean,
time
you are
we
talking about web services or something, API.
uh, we deal with the APIs only. We deal with APIs. The outcome of the data, that is where I'm more focused on the
Okay.
data validation. Every time we have set of scenarios every time we run, and whenever we compare the data with current data, whatever the actual data or the expected data. So we wanted to see the same results every time whenever we run. It's like a regression testing. So mainly I'm looking to automate that way. I just wanted to provide some background so that you have some understanding.
Okay, I mean, we'll try to cover most of the part. In my session, right? Basically, as everyone know, manual testing, test case design, everything. So I don't want to waste your time again with this manual testing related stuff. So basically, I'll explain. Like, I mean, what the sessions are going. I'm going to cover in throughout this journey, and what exactly I'm going to provide you at the end of this course, and what exactly we are going to learn by end of this course. All these things today, I'm going to discuss about that thing only. I mean, the course content as well as what are the projects we are going to cover, what are the frameworks we are going to cover, everything. Okay. So I'll share my screen first thing, and if you have a time, actually, as most of the people this is the first session. Actually, I thought of started with the software setup today for to start our automation scripting, but that's fine. Maybe we'll start from Monday. Today again, I'll go through what all the topics I'm going to cover as part of this course, so that and you can relate with your application, so that if you have any questions later after this session, right, you can email us or whatever. Is there any specific requirement, you can still contact Christoph Technologies, so that they'll give me all those details, so that I can reply back to all your questions or queries. If there is any specific requirement also, definitely we can work it out for sure. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So when it comes to I'll share my screen first thing. Okay. Yeah. Before that, let me introduce myself. Okay. Myself, Bharat. Okay. I'm having a 9+ years of experience in software testing, both manual, automation, everything. From last 7 years, I'm into this automation, mainly into Selenium with Java, actually. Apart from that, I'm also having good knowledge on RPA softwares like UiPath, Blue Prism, all those things. And recently, I also started with the Cypress automation, and I'm good at JMeter also. Basically, we used to have JMeter to do performance testing, right? It's not always functional testing. We also do bit of performance testing in my project, so we used to use JMeter for that. And I'm also having good knowledge on DevOps tool Azure, Jenkins, all these things. Okay. And currently I'm working with Cognizant Technology Solutions as a software, test lead. And I'm also working as a freelancer. I mean, I am associated with Christoph Technology Solutions as a trainer. I'm into this field from last 4.5 years, actually, as a software trainer. I used to deal with project trainings as well as project support whenever it's required, right? We used to support the projects also. If there is some startup kind of thing, and if we need we need to set up some framework for them, so that and we can, if you want to train them, I used to involve in those activities, framework setup, trainings, everything. Okay. Chris Technologies, like any of those kind of requirements, also you can always reach out to Chris Technologies. So we can provide those support as well along with this. And please refer your friends. Any of your friends are looking for these trainings or project support, you can always reach out to Chris Technology Solutions so that we can provide all those. Yeah, that's few details about me. Yeah, we'll jump into the our actual topic, the course content, and what exactly we are going to teach you, and what exactly you are going to learn throughout this uh, automation journey actually with Selenium. Again, I don't want to talk about again why Selenium, all these things, because already all of you are aware of Selenium, right? Basically, how exactly Selenium is going to automate the application, how exactly Selenium is going to interact with the application. Most of the people already, you might already have knowledge on those things. Again, basically, Selenium can handle most of, like almost like a 90-95% of the web application can handle. Any web application you can automate, but still few limitations like capture related things. Still, it will not accurately identify the images and all. Those limitations are still there, but otherwise, like it can handle like 100% web applications. That's you might already aware, but it cannot handle Windows based applications. Like if you want to handle any, if you want to run any exe file just like that, it cannot directly run, or it cannot handle it cannot perform any action. Suppose if I want to open my C drive, and if I want to fit some folder or something, it cannot. It cannot do directly by its own. It cannot click on these windows or related things actually. Those are the limitations of Selenium, but nowadays no one is using Windows based applications for any project, right? Most of the things are web applications or APIs, and will store our databases in cloud services like AWS, all those things. So it will be very easy to handle those things with Selenium. That's why, like nowadays, everyone is looking for Selenium because it can handle all these things, like whether it's a API, whether it's a database, whether it's a web applications or mobile application, whatever it is. Uh, Anything can be handled using Selenium. That's why like Selenium is so popular, and it can support like a multiple languages like a Java, Python, C Sharp, Perl, Ruby. So the demand for Selenium is always there in the market, and when it comes to Selenium with Java, it's even more better because like we can get a huge support in terms of technical support. I'm talking about, suppose if you started like automating your application with Selenium and Java, and if you face some issue in our framework design, or if you need some technical support in terms of code, or in terms of solutions for your POCs or something, you can easily get the solutions when it comes to Selenium with Java, because from last 10 years, like so many people have already used the Selenium with Java for their projects already, and they might have already faced the whatever the issues you are currently facing. They might, most of the people, because it's not one or two projects, right? There were like millions of projects are currently running on, and most of the project, like almost like 70% of the projects, when it comes to automation, they develop these maybe framework might differ. Some people will use TestNG framework, some people will use Cucumber framework, but background, right, everyone will use Java only as language support for their code. So obviously, right, whenever you need some solution or something, right, you can easily get support in terms of framework design, or like whatever the regular POCs or programs. That's what it is. Okay. And then, yeah, when it comes to course content, uh, I made it very simple. That doesn't mean like I'm not covering anything. Okay. I'll cover everything, maybe because if you can take in our Microsoft solutions, it might like we'll elaborate all these things. Okay, if you can take introductions to Selenium itself, there will be 3-4 topics we used to cover, and then all those things. So don't confuse with like it's a single page document only, but it will cover everything. If you want like a detailed information of each and every topic, you can still refer our website. And even anyway, after this session, right, at the end of the day, all you have you'll get like one email from Microsoft Technology Solutions, where you can get like all the course content with the detailed topics, everything, all those things. You can get all these details. Otherwise, we are good. And when it comes to the topics which we are going to cover as part of these sessions, right? Basically, I'll start with the Selenium instead of Java, okay? So that we'll use a little bit of Java only for Selenium. It's not like each and every concept of Selenium we are going to, it's not like that. Some part of the Java is enough for Selenium in terms of Selenium, basically. In terms of basic programs and a little bit of Java is required. So that you'll be able to understand very easily. So that's why like I'll start these sessions with the Selenium, basic Selenium programs, okay? In the Selenium, like basically I'll start with the locators first, because that is the main step we used to do in our real-time projects. Half of the time we used to spend time on locating the elements. Suppose if you can take any of the website, right? If you want to interact with any of the web application, basically web application is something set of elements, right? Set of elements and elements which are going to perform some actions, basically. Suppose if you can take simple Google Pay, there are so many elements here. You can take this Gmail is one element. Element is something, some object in the web page, like this logo is some object, and this text box is some object. These are like two buttons. Like with this only, actually, we can perform some actions, right? Basically, this text box is something meant for to type some text. After that, like if you click on this button, so that it can interact with the server and it will get the result from the server with this, whatever the input you have given, like that. So to perform any of the actions, basically you need elements in the web page. So once you'll have a elements, you can perform some actions. Maybe if there is a text box, right, you can type. This is one of the action. You are typing something. And if you have a button, you will click on. The button is meant for click. So you click on something so that you'll get some result. And there will be multiple links here so that you'll get a set of details. If you click on this one, right, you'll be navigated to different link and you'll get different details. So any web page is like a set of elements, and mainly we'll start our course with locating these elements, because half of the time, not even half of the time, almost like a 70 to 80% of the time, whenever there is a new feature came into our application, right, immediately what exactly we'll do is, as an automation engineer, we'll first of all check manually. So most of the people will tell like, I mean, automation is different and manual testing is different. Automation people won't touch manual, but that's not the right thing. The person who is having sound knowledge on the application and who is having great knowledge on manual testing can easily automate any of these applications. That's what my point of view, actually. Because if you know the application, if you understand the application better, if you know the like what is the right scenario to do, to deal with, and what are the areas where exactly we are going to face the issues, then only right, better scripts. Otherwise, always write a straightforward scenarios won't fail most of the time. As a automation engineer, you have to cover both like manual, I mean, positive scenarios as well as negative scenarios, and you have to think in such a way that like where exactly our script is going to fail. So all those scenarios you have to cover in the script. Otherwise, right, if you run for the first time, it will run perfectly fine all your script, but next time whenever there is a some problem, I mean, there is a situation where the performance low or some missing buttons, or meanwhile if there is a pop-up came in, those things just like that you won't get it unless until we have a knowledge on application. That's why manual testing is very, very important, and understanding of like application features and the project is very, very important before you are jumping into automation part actually. That's why I'll suggest whenever you want to automate some application, first you have to understand the application better, and you have to design your test cases in such a way that we have to cover each and everything, like it's a positive, negative, all those scenarios. Then you can automate, so that whenever there is an issue, whenever there is an problem in our application, you can happily identify those things with our automation. Otherwise, there is no meaning of doing automation for straightforward scenarios always. That's my current thing. So I'll start my course with the locators basically, to how exactly we are going to identify each and every element in the web page, whether it's a button or text box or radio button, whatever it is. There will be 8 to 9 different kinds of element available in any of the web application. It's not only Google or Yahoo or Facebook, right? Any of the web application will contain only these 7 or 8 web elements basically. So those elements, how exactly we are going to identify those elements, how exactly we are going to perform actions on those web elements, how easily we can identify. Mainly, no, most of the people, you people are have heard about XPath, right? There were 8 different kinds of locators available in the Selenium, but out of these 8 different locators, XPath is very famous in terms of automation. Oh, hope you people already heard about those things. I'll teach you one complete session, or maybe 1 or 2 sessions. I'm completely discuss about those XPaths only. So if you know the XPath better, right, you don't have to depend on any other locator actually, because XPath can cover all these things. If you want to write, take XPath like name or ID or tag, link text or partial link text, all these things, right? We can cover everything in XPath itself. That's why XPath is so popular while locating the elements, any of the web elements. And moreover, few of the projects, right? Some of the people, some of the organizations or some projects in organization, right? Some people will follow as a standard also sometimes. Uh, as a expert. So for each and every element, we have to identify the element with only expert locator. These kind of standards also few people will follow. That that important it is, and that powerful it is in terms of locating element. So we are going to spend good amount of time on identifying the expert, all those things, and then slowly we'll discuss about like how exactly we are going to deal with each and every element. Like I mean, if it is a text box, how exactly we are going to deal with it, and if it is a radio button, how exactly we are going to deal with it. Sometimes you will say drag and drops. I mean, you have to drag some object from one of the text box and you have to place it in different text box. And sometimes you will see radio buttons. Radio button is something, if you click on yes, automatically it will unselect the no one. So these kind of things, how exactly we are going to handle. Sometimes we'll get multiple pop-ups. Suppose if you will open any of the shopping website, right? It's not always routing you to home page. Sometimes in middle you will get offers page. Sometimes you'll get a banner like there is a flash sale is going on for during this festival season, so you can opt out for this kind of offers and account related offers. Sometimes you will get. So because of this, generally our script will get failed, because if you're not think about if you'll only think about the home page after login, then obviously these kind of websites, right, in middle you will get multiple pop-ups, all those things. So at that time, definitely your script is going to fail. So you have to think in such a way that like in middle, is there anything is coming? Those things you will know only when you have a good knowledge on application. That's why it's very important that like automation is important, and understanding, like I mean, getting knowledge of the application is even more important. Then you can easily automate any of these things. Yeah, we'll talk about those things also. And then once we'll deal with these windows, pop-ups, everything, then we'll spend good amount of time on keyboard and mouse actions, because it's not always WebDriver will integrate with our browsers and will perform actions. Sometimes we might need to do whatever the actions we are currently performing with mouse and the keyboard, right? Generally, those things also we might need to perform in few cases, not always, but few cases, especially we need to press enter for sure. For few cases, we need to double click on something. For few cases, we need to scroll like this in the web page. So those kind of actions, how exactly we are going to deal with Selenium. And sometimes we can see like whenever we'll find out the expert, right? Always we'll see two elements with the same kind of details, same ID, same. How exactly we are going to deal with these duplicate elements? All those things we are going to talk about. And then finally, as in the starting of this session, right, I told you one of the limitation for Selenium is it cannot directly interact with the Windows-based applications. But still, we can deal with Windows-related actions, like if suddenly you want to upload some files into our application, or if you want to download some PDF files, and if you want to check where exactly our PDF file is downloaded, you have to navigate to some folder path inside your system, or maybe in your virtual machine, maybe. So those kind of things, right? Still, we need to perform some Windows actions there. So for that, like, even though Selenium is not going to interact these Windows related things directly, but still we can interact with these things using some third-party tool support. Maybe it will become like a bridge between the Selenium and Windows related uh, things. It will become a bridge, so that through this third-party software, like there were multiple third-party softwares available, and out of that, AutoIT software is one of the famous uh, tool which can support, which can actually interact with Selenium as well as Windows, so that it will behave like a bridge between these two, and we can still perform minimal actions, not like everything. What exactly we are doing with the C, we are going to C drive where we are opening movie file or something. I mean, we can still do, but there is like a lot of scripting part is involved there in that also. So yeah, we'll see like a basic things actually, how exactly we are going to upload the files, how exactly we are going to navigate into our local drives, all those things we'll see at the end. Yeah, that will cover most of the Selenium concepts actually. Once you are comfortable with all these Selenium concepts and everything, right? Then slowly we'll jump into Java. Because if I'll start Java first and I'll start with the OOPS concepts, polymorphism, overriding, overloading, few people will face difficulty, and later they won't get interest also like on these things. So that's why basically I'll start with Selenium. So Selenium will be like a more interesting, because we are always deal with the browsers, we are always deal with the web elements, we'll interact with, so that like even they'll start parallelly. All of you will already working in projects, so you can start implementing whatever the things you learned in this session, right? You can start implementing same thing in your projects. In that way you'll understand this concept better, and moreover you will get initially when you start these things, whatever the things you learned in this session, whenever you are implementing in your application, your project, right, definitely will get some errors. So that whenever, so few people will think, right, yeah, whenever they'll get error they feel poor and they'll they won't get interest. But in terms of me, like in my point of view, if you'll get those errors, right, you won't forget those errors in later point of time, once you'll get a solution for that error. In that way you'll learn better. And moreover, if you'll get these errors, right, as we are always there to help you, so immediately when you come to the next session, right, you can email us, or like you can bring those errors to this session. At the end of the session every day we'll spend like 10 to 20 minutes especially for Q&A session actually. So whatever the errors you are facing in your system or in your application, in your project, right, we can discuss about those things at the end of every session. That thing also there. In that way you can even even more like you can understand better, and moreover, like you won't forget those things if you'll try, if you'll practice those things. And moreover, anyway, at the end of the session, we are also going to give you one of the assignment, so that like whatever the things we are going to cover in the session, we have to practice and you have to work it out in the, at least you have to spend 1 or 2 hours on those things, so that like tomorrow when you come to the session, if you are facing any errors or if you are facing any difficulties, we can discuss about those things also at the end of the session. That's the main intention here. And then slowly we'll jump into Java concepts. I mean, it's not like a complete Java, because Java is like a ocean and we don't want to go into all those things. It will take like a 2 to 3 months of time only for Java. So we don't want to cover everything. The things which you need to build our framework, which we need to deal with our regular application automation scripts or frameworks, all those things. We are going to deal with those kind of things only. So these concepts will cover most of the things, like data types, identifiers. Data types is something main important thing, because in Selenium, most of the time what we will do, we'll have a expected result with us already, and we'll have a actual result. We are going to get it from the automation software. Finally, we are going to compare both the things, and finally we'll generate the report. So for that, right, we have to understand data types better, what data can be stored in which variable, and what is wrong and what is right, and what is the correct way to store the variables, what is the industry standard to maintain a variable. All those things we are going to discuss. And then identifier, main important concept. Like when it comes to framework, right, you will see in the market, like most of the people either will use for Selenium Cucumber framework or page object model, test engine framework, right? So in the both the things, we'll get so many class files, so many things. Access modifier is very, very important, because which class can level of access, basically which access can have access to different class, and which thing we can keep it as a private, so that you cannot uh, actually access from other different classes. So those kind of things we always require while designing the framework. So we'll cover those things. And then keywords, there were so many keywords reserved by C, because if you want to use suppose like new new, we cannot this as a variable, okay, because it's already reserved by Java, like that. If you can take static, if you can take any of the thing like string, if you can take integer, those kind of words, right, these are the English words already reserved by Java. That is what the meaning of keywords here. So we'll talk about each and every keyword, because whenever you'll attend an interview or something, most of the time they used to ask these things, right? What is the difference between final, finalize? What is the meaning of static? What is the meaning of synchronize? What is the meaning of try catch? What exactly you are going to do with the try catch? What is the meaning of throw and throws? Those questions always they will ask, right? Whenever they'll start an interview, immediately they'll jump into these things. Even though we are attending a Selenium interview, but they'll mainly focus on Java related things, right? Mainly keywords, access modifier, data type, all these things. So we are going to cover everything. And finally, we are going to cover operators like plus, minus, those things we always use, right? We'll compare these greater than, less than symbols always, right? So we are going to discuss about those things. And finally, functions and methods. This is the main thing we are going to use, right? Because method is something, it's a set of actions. Don't worry about all these things. Uh, anyway, I'm going to explain you in very, I'm going to start each and every concept from scratch, whether it's a Java concept or Selenium concept, right? I'm going to teach you in such a way that even like if you don't have any prior knowledge on Java or Selenium also, you can understand. In that way, I'll definitely teach you, and moreover, I'll provide you the documentation for each and everything, so that whenever you'll get you stuck somewhere or you'll feel some difficulty, you can always refer the document as well as the session video also. That's the way you can understand even more better. And then finally, we'll jump into OOPS concepts, and then we'll talk about all those things, and finally we'll start, and we are going to discuss about collections. That is the main important thing. Collections concepts actually in terms of designing framework. Not only designing framework, even if you want to write simple Selenium program also, most of the time generally in the interview they used to ask, right, so try to automate one of the website with multiple windows, all those things, right? So most of these programs, if you write any of the program, right, for any of the web application or simple Java program, definitely you have to use at least one of the collection concept for sure. We are going to discuss about each and every collections concept and why each and every collection concept came into the picture, and what is the importance of we'll start with the basic string variables and integer variables. Why exactly string array came into the picture, I mean arrays came into the picture, and then after arrays, where exactly the need of list set and all, and after that where exactly we started using a hash map, hash table, all those things, each and everything. Maybe I'll explain you in such a way that like you won't forget at all. In that way I'll definitely teach you, so that like by the end of this session, right, you will become master of these collections, I mean Java, all those things. It's not like a complete Java. Whatever the concepts we are going to use in our framework or regular Selenium testing, right, definitely I'll make sure you will get sound knowledge on those things for sure. So once I'll complete Selenium concepts and Java concepts, right, then we'll jump into actual main important thing. This is what you are looking for, right? At the end of the day, you want to design your own framework. That is the end goal for you, most of you people. So I'll make sure, like, I mean, I'll try to cover at least two different frameworks, uh, both TestNG and Cucumber. There won't be much difference actually for any of this framework, because both the frameworks are running on Java only. Only difference is like a one thing in the testing you can handle more like a, if you want to deal with the bit complex applications like there are APIs, there are so many REST APIs involved in your project, and there are so many databases. You have to connect with multiple databases like one SQL database, other one is Postgres database. Both are in AWS server, and you are having so many APIs in your project, and you have to use large amount of data to test these things. And there is a huge UI application with almost like a 20 to 30 different screens. If you have these kind of applications, right, we'll always prefer TestNG framework, especially in even in TestNG framework model wise, we'll recommend page object model, because whenever you are dealing with these kind of complex application, you know, you have to maintain. It's not always important that you are automatic on. Maybe you'll spend 2 to 3 months of time to automate all these things, complete application, and just leave this thing. It's not the case, right? Because application is something you are always going to get so many changes in middle, so many enhancements, so many issues, bugs, everything. So during these times, you have to always focus on maintenance part also. So it will be like for these kind of huge applications, right, it will be very difficult to maintain all your script if you are not maintaining in a proper way. That's why we'll recommend the page object model, where in the page object model the concept deal the application in such a way that for each and every web page, for each and every database connection, database related stuff, we are going to separate each and everything in the framework, so that whenever there is a new enhancement in the application or specific page, right, you can directly go to respective class file or package. You can implement whatever the changes you got in the latest requirement or latest sprint, whatever it is. That is what the concept. And then I'm also teach you how exactly we are going to deal with the Cucumber framework. Basically, you know, this is also very famous framework in automation. Most of the people will use the people who are having application with less amount of data, and the people who want to, especially this BDD framework will be used. I mean, Cucumber framework will be used to know like a business people, especially business people, they used to provide us the requirement, right? Some people will call business analysts, some organization will call them as a product owners, whatever it is. They used to provide us the requirements, and finally we used to test these development people, they'll develop, and finally QA people will test these requirements. And finally, from business side, before we are signing off and before we are releasing this product into the production, from business side, they want to verify once, because they just want to make sure whatever the requirement, maybe their perspective may be different on the same requirement, and our perspective might differ, right? So instead of creating a later point of time, instead of creating conflicts, right, they used to use this Cucumber framework. Basically, this Cucumber framework not only code, actually, one extra advantage with Cucumber framework is something just like a manual testing, we'll create a feature files in the Cucumber framework, so that in the feature file we used to cover uh, all the manual steps, basically all the manual steps, where you can see even the people who don't have any prior knowledge and coding all those things, with this feature file they can actually know what exactly we did in the script. Suppose if you can take one of the scenario here, in the login page, one of the scenario is something we have to verify login page. We have created login page, the development team. As a QA, we are testing this login page, whether all the elements, meaning the username text box, password text box, sign in button is there or not. And if it is there, it is allowing to click, it is allowing to enter the text or not. These kind of stuff we used to check in the manual testing, right? Same thing we are going to do in the automation also. In the Cucumber extra feature is something, there is a feature file. This is the one of the extra advantage with the Cucumber framework, where you can write whatever the manual step you want to write, like a scenario feature, what is the test case you are going to test, what is the manual test steps we are going to write for this particular case, right? You can write it as it is in general English terms, okay? We'll call it this language as a gherkin in terms of Cucumber, okay? And finally, in the background, anyway, it will interact with the application using basic Selenium concepts only. That is still intact. Only extra advantage is we are going to add one more file called a feature file, where you can correlate whatever the methods, Java methods, with the regular English language steps, whatever the regular test steps currently we are writing for manual testing. That's it. That's the only difference. So I'll make sure I'll cover both the frameworks. If you want to deal with a larger amount of data with so many different components in your application, you can deal with that as well. If you want to deal with minimal data with you want to write it in Cucumber framework, that is also fine. I'll make sure I'll cover both. And finally, once you are comfortable with framework, everything, I'll teach you how exactly we are going to maintain version control. Version control is something, today I'll write some program, write some code for one of the framework, and obviously framework is something not only used by you, right? Framework is something, it should be shared with multiple resources in your project, and every resource can contribute to your framework, so that it's like a collaboration, and you have to share it with everyone. And for that sharing related things, right, just like that, you cannot share these files with others, just like that you cannot copy or paste it in other folder, you cannot share it's not the case, right, in real time. Because we have to maintain the version control, because whenever there is some other person made the changes, we have to track all those changes, actually what exactly they made the change, in which file they made the change, all those things. For that, generally we'll use GitHub. GitHub is something meant for to maintain version control. Version control is something, if you do today, you make some change in the code, what exactly you did today. Earlier, what exactly the code is about, and what exactly the change you made today. Same thing. If someone did the change, sometimes, right, always some people, suppose if you give this code to the fresher who don't have any knowledge, he writes something in the class file or something in our framework, definitely it will impact complete our project testing, right? Testing project, right? So it might cause failure in our test scripts, all those things. So just like that, we cannot allow him to update all our scripts. So for that only, we used to have create GitHub account, and we used to have a multiple approvals, reviews, all those things in the GitHub. Generally, you might heard about like a pull request, PRs, review process, and then conflicts, all these terms, right? In terms of GitHub, right? So we are going to talk about all those things at the end of this framework, and finally, we'll take one of the CI/CD tool, like either it's Azure or Jenkins. Any one of the tool will take it based on the demand. By the time, maybe nowadays, no one is looking for Jenkins because everyone wants Azure, because Azure is something which can happily maintain all our code, and we can actually integrate these things with Azure pipeline to run the jobs and all. And even you can maintain all our test cases, manual test cases, and we can integrate these manual test cases with the automation test scripts in the Azure itself. That's why nowadays everyone wants Azure, but that's fine. We'll select one of the CI/CD tool at the end, and we'll try to run all our script, whatever the script we are going to store in the GitHub or Azure GitRepo. We'll try to integrate these things with the CI/CD, and finally we'll try to run these things just like a real-time project. How exactly I'm going to, maybe if possible, I'll try to bring my current organization project also. It's like I'll try to show you. Don't We won't record or something. Just for your reference at the end, right? I'll try to get some basic framework. I mean, not like a exact my organization framework actually. I'll try to build a framework in such a way that like it will try to cover most of the things which need to be covered in a real-time project, right? So those kind of framework I'll try to bring up, or maybe at the time of designing our framework itself, we'll design in such a way that even you can use same framework in our regular projects. I'll definitely make sure about all these things. That is what we are going to discuss in the complete session. And at the end of the day, right, after this session, if someone want any interview support, like some questions or resume preparation or something to deal with interviews, all those things, right? We'll always there to help you. Especially exclusively, we keep 2 sessions at the end, 2 days of the thing, right? We are completely going to concentrate. If someone need this support in terms of interview or something, we'll always there to support. Especially 2 sessions meant for those things only in our course. That's whole I'm going to talk about in our automation journey. Yeah, that's it actually. That is what the things from my end. If any of you have any specific questions related to these things, or any of the things related to your project specific things, right? You can, yeah, you can talk up. You can ask me so that I can answer your questions.
Can we scrap data using Jenkins?
Sorry?
Can we scrap data using Jenkins?
Scrap instance, you are talking about web scraping?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I mean, Jenkins is not for scraping or something, okay?
Okay.
Jenkins is something to run the code. So generally, if you can, this is my framework, okay? This is my framework. If I want to run one of the script, what exactly I'll do? I'll go to the test runner file. Basically, if it's a Cucumber file, I'll go to this test runner file and run as JUnit. Basically, if it's a TestNG project, basically I'll go to TestNG XML file,
Okay.
I'll run as a TestNG project, right? Generally. So that it will run all our test scripts. So
Okay.
after creating the framework, if you are running manually, there is no meaning, right? The framework we have designed, we have to design in such a way that it should run automatically. Maybe if we schedule, just like alarm, okay? Jenkins he will do like just like an alarm job, okay? If we'll trigger some job, if we'll schedule something like on so and so day, so and so time, suppose today 8 o'clock in the evening, my testing will complete and my all manual testing will be done. And today 8 o'clock is deadline for all our testing, so that from as a automation engineer, you have to run all our scripts. So for that, you don't need to run again. You have to go to this framework. You should not do like that. You have to schedule a job basically, so that should automatically trigger all the scripts, so that all the scripts will run, and the report will be generated like this. One report will be generated like this, and this report will be sent to your email ID and client email ID, so that whatever the script is getting failed, or whatever the application feature is running perfectly fine, or like not running fine, those details will be reported in such a way that one HTML report will be generated at the end in the
Okay.
Jenkins Artifactory, so that you will understand what all the things you have to take care and what all the things are running perfectly fine. So point here is Jenkins is not meant for scrapping or something. Jenkins is something to schedule the job on so and so day and what time the script needs to be ran. That's the main concept of Jenkins. Like you
Okay.
will get this kind of report at the end of run from the Jenkins. It's not only
Okay.
Jenkins, Azure also will do same thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions from anyone? Anyone? Lavanya, Jagan, Bhagya, and Satish. Someone. If you have any specific questions, you can ask me. Yeah, from Monday onwards, we are going to start actual sessions. Maybe first session, I'm going to start with the software tools setup. Maybe, like please be ready with your systems, okay? Your laptops or whatever the systems, okay? Monday, I'm going to talk about software tool setup. What all the different softwares we need to start with our Selenium programming. What are the different things we need to install? What are the different things you need to maintain as a folder structure? What are the standards we need to follow when we are dealing with the programming part? All those things. I'm talking one complete session about tool setup, everything, because as we have multiple people in our session, right? If anyone is facing any issue, right, in the same session, I'll try to resolve those kind of issues in our system. That's the main intention actually. One complete session for tool setup. Then Tuesday onwards, we'll jump into actual programming part. That's the thing. And as I promised, at the end of the session, whatever the things we are going to discuss in the session, immediately I'll send you the documentation so that you can always refer and you can always implement those things in your project. That's the way you learn even more better all these concepts. That's the main intention. And by the way, we are going to anyway. This Christoph team will share you the video also. Whatever they'll record the session video, even today video, whatever the thing. I mean, whatever you are going to discuss in this session, right? They'll record and they'll share it with all of you, so that you can always refer these sessions in later point of time whenever you need some support or whenever you feel difficulty in any of the concept. You can always refer, and we will provide you mail IDs also, so that you can contact. So I can always reply back whenever I'll get a time immediately. Maybe like at least within whenever I'll get a time, I'll look into these emails and I'll reply back as soon as possible. Definitely. Yeah. That's it actually. That's what I'm going to talk about. That's what I'm going to teach you, and that's what you are going to learn by the end of this session.